All right, everybody, welcome back in another episode of TNJ Sports Podcast. Drizzy and Tstalls here with you today. We'll be recapping Super Bowl, going over NCAA basketball because now that's really our only sport out there at the moment.
Yeah.
Uh, that season's winding down. We'll go over that Kentucky and Louisville. Not much to see on either end of that spectrum. And whatnot. So, Tstalls, how you doing? How you doing, buddy?
Doing well, man. Doing well. It's kind of, I wouldn't say depressing, but yeah, it is kind of different now. Our main sports that we follow, like college football, NFL, is all over with. But I mean, heck of a game to end it on. We now is probably one of the best times, I guess, tournament wise, because you got March Madness right around the corner. Plus, it's my birthday month. So I'd say, we got some exciting times coming up. Obviously, my team's not going to be in it. But do you think any of our teams will be in the tournament this year?
I think Kentucky's got a chance. I know they're in the first four out right now. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
like second or third team from being out. I don't know, man. It's they need to win. I think four out of these last five games.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Starting with Tennessee at home on Saturday. If they can afford to lose to Tennessee, I think that one won't hurt.
Yeah.
Lose to Vandy or Florida, those will hurt.
Oh yeah.
Arkansas and Auburn are kind of middle of the pack losses, but
Mm.
I think you win four out of five. You're going into the SEC tournament comfortable that you're not, you don't have to win one game or two games to start feeling comfortable. So
Right.
I think they'll make it. I think they'll be like a 8 through 10 seed, but
Yeah.
we'll
We'll,
see.
we'll see what they can do. Honestly, you'll know. I guess you'll get a feel for it around, the last couple games of the year. Obviously, you'll know what you're looking like going into the SEC tournament. And then going into the SEC tournament, you definitely have to make it to championship weekend, you know, to get a good seed. I think you may luck out if you make it to at least, the elite eight of the SEC. You might be okay making it there and you still squeak in as the last four in like you are right now. But if you lose in week one, I mean, game one or game two, I think it's over with. You'll be probably top seed in the NIT just because the SEC is so powerful. I mean, we're kicking off, NCAA talk right now. So, I mean, just to kick it off, the number one team projected by Lunardi is, as an SEC team, Alabama. They're number one. So you got Alabama, you got Tennessee in there. I mean, even Arkansas could probably squeak back in. I know they haven't been playing well. They're kind of right there with you two. So it's kind of between you two on who's going to be that last SEC team in.
Yeah, it's like I mean, let's see, Arkansas's dealt with a lot of injury problems this
Yeah.
year. Like their best dude's been out all year long. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
well, let's see here. I mean, Joe Lenardi, as of like the other day, had set us was seven the SEC, seven bids, two of those being on the bubble. So you got Alabama, Tennessee, Missouri, Auburn, Arkansas, Texas A&M, Mississippi State. Then Kentucky and Florida were on the bubble, but
Mm-hmm.
that was before the Mississippi State game, which is flip flopped. So flip flop those two. Um, and then Florida and Mississippi State are now on the bubble. So I mean, those are all pretty good, conference opponents there. We
Mm-hmm.
beat Texas A&M. We beat Tennessee once. We beat Florida. We beat Mississippi State. We beat Tennessee again. Maybe turn around, beat Arkansas and Auburn. I mean, like I say, you win four of those last five games of the year. I think you'll go into the tournament comfortable where you don't have to win a game. It wouldn't help to lose. You don't want to lose the first game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I don't think if you win four out of the last five, I don't think it will kill you to not play well in the tournament. The
Right.
SEC.
Right. Right. So what we got so far, guys, for you for the bracket outlook. Like I said before, top seed is Alabama. They're projected to be the number one overall seed. However, they did just lose to Tennessee. So I mean,
Tennessee on the road. I mean,
yeah, that's a win. That's a quad one loss. So I think they're fine. That I don't even see them probably. falling out of the top three. If anything, they'll fall to two.
Well,
And
Purdue lost last night,
exactly. So,
and I don't see them putting Houston back up there. So I'd say
I
Alabama
do. I
probably.
do see Houston going up there, but what I had with Houston is they're playing really well, but they always play really well in conference play because that competition isn't that great. I mean, I never want to go against a minor minor division or minor league team or any by any means, because I know those teams can definitely jump up and be great, just like Louisville when we won the national title. We were in the AAC, which is now not looked upon as that great other than Cincinnati, which Cincinnati's now leaving it. But I mean, Houston's in a conference that's not that great, and then they just lost to Temple. That was their second loss of the year. Their first loss being to Alabama, which is that's a good win. I mean, a good loss, which um, I think losing to Temple definitely hits them hard, but they can win out, be number one in their conference, go all the way to the championship game, and they'll still be a top two seed whether they win or lose that championship game. So Houston's definitely they're where you want to be right now in the year. You're playing great ball. They just got to finish out playing against their normal competition, but they have to prove something because Houston usually is a Sweet 16 team, but that's when they start facing teams from the SEC or the ACC that has a little bit more skill, more power that they're not used to. So we'll see what they can bring. But my team to look out for, which you just mentioned earlier, they did just lose to forgot who they just lost to, but Purdue. They just lost to Maryland. They just lost to Maryland. But I think Purdue, even though they struggled, they are very dominant because they have Edey. I mean, this is where a 7-footer wants to ball out. Yeah, you want to ball in the NBA, but as you've seen with most 7-footers, you don't play if you don't have the dribbling skills, the 3-point shot, or at least some range on your shot. You're not going to be that good in the NBA. He's the prime kind of guy you want in the NCAA college level. So I think he's going to be dominant and a force to to reckon with when it comes to the tournament. So
I mean, yeah, because there's not going to be a lot of teams that will have that size to go up against him. But I
mm-hmm,
mean, at the same time, I do, I don't. When I look at the tournament, I also look at who's been there
mm-hmm,
coaching wise.
mm-hmm.
Who's been there
Yeah,
coaching wise? What has that coach done?
in the tournament.
Um, in Matt Painter hasn't done. He hasn't gotten over that hump.
No,
So to say,
no team from the Big Ten has.
it's been Sweet 16 or Elite Eight,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it. He
Yep.
has not made that hump or gotten over that hump to that Final Four. Like I mean, like you said, the only team that really has is what Michigan State every once in a while.
Yeah,
Look at who they got.
it's been a while for them. So I mean,
So
Michigan in 2013, but
yeah, I mean it's few and far between. But I mean,
yeah,
dude's done like Edie's great. Don't take it the wrong way.
mm-hmm.
And he's dropping
20
bucket
and 15. So
in 15. I mean, but he's also got 12-point games,
yeah,
14-point games,
yeah, he
and
gets them
that's
fouled. He gets them fouled. He needs the right referees. I heard him say this before. He needs the right referees because I mean, as you can see, refereeing is a big hot topic every year, no matter what's going on, no matter who's winning. When you're refereeing a guy that big and he's playing against smaller guys, which he will play against starting out in the tournament, it's hard to referee that, man. You got a 7-footer who's posting people up, and it may look like he's being maybe throwing elbows or offensive foul, but it's not. It's just him using his body, and guys are just so small. So I think they need the right path, just like every team that wins the national championship, no matter if they're number one overall or number 11 like UConn when they won it. You need the right path. You need everything to align perfectly. That's why it's a Cinderella story or it's your magic moment. You need that magic in the tournament. I think Purdue can get that.
yeah, and I mean they can. I just don't see. I mean, I don't see it playing out as that, in my opinion. I mean,
Once the bracket comes out.
yeah, that'll be a fun day. We'll have to do a show right after that. We'll have to do like
Oh
a
yeah.
first.
Well, we're going to do
first.
a show right afterwards, and everybody, you're definitely going to be asked to join in a competition where we do a bracket challenge. We'll come up with the rules and whatnot, but I mean, it's your basic one. Just fill out a bracket. Whoever has the most picks right, you win the pot, something like that. But I, I told you, it's exciting time. Even though we don't have football anymore, this is the best time for basketball. All-Star break for NBA, and now you got March Madness right around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some, I guess, hot takes down here. I mean, Alabama's my favorite at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Got down the Nets. I like Nate Oates. I like his team. I like how they play. Brandon Miller,
Mm-hmm.
inside outside. He's got a quick release. It's a weird looking jump shot, but it's quick release. Um, no, I guess no Big Ten or Pac-12 team will make the Final Four. That's my hot take. No Big Ten, no Pac-12. I got us down as Kansas,
Mm-hmm.
Virginia, Alabama, and Tennessee at the moment. But then again, I don't trust Tennessee. So I was having trouble finding that fourth team. I really thought at the moment could do it because
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust Rick Barnes to get it done
Yeah.
because he's choked in the tournament too. So
Yeah. Those are good takes. I mean, I agree with. I I'll say it's a cool take when you say a Big Ten team's not going to make it. I think everybody believes that because, like we just mentioned, it's far and few between when you find a Big Ten team making it to the Final Four, or let alone Elite
but
Eight. So
a lot of people are like you and they really like Zach Edey and Purdue.
yeah,
Oh, they've
but
been top, but
mm,
it's still hard to. I mean, they
yeah,
got Lenardi's got a Big Ten down with 9 bids right now.
hmm
Purdue, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Northwestern, Michigan State, Maryland, Rutgers, and Wisconsin.
and the only one that jumps out is Purdue. I mean, Indiana jumps out just because I do root for them, on occasions.
They're not a bad team.
They're
They're
not,
inconsistent,
yeah. And
but
injuries have hurt them a lot. Their point guard and Jackson is out. I mean, so it hurts them not having their true point guard. But I always mess up his name when I try to say it. But their freshman this year, number one, he's been balling for him. He stepped up a lot in a couple games ago. I believe it was against Maryland or Rutgers and hit a couple good shots to keep him in through the stretch, even against Northwestern, even though they just lost. He was hitting some shots down the stretch that kept him close. And you can't really stop Trace Jackson Davis. Like that guy, when I watch him play, I'm just like, yeah, he's definitely a lottery pick. And if he balls out in the NBA Combine or just the NCAA tournament, he's definitely a top 5 pick. So um, I would say he probably will go down as one of the greatest Hoosier to ever play the game if he's not already labeled as that. But Indiana has the right guys on the team to where you'll hit right in the tournament. I mean, they beat
and,
Purdue.
they've got a good coach. They got a
Yeah,
good coach.
Woodson didn't have a great first year, but he didn't have a. I got to take a shot at my own team. He didn't have a 3-23 year. He had a good year in year one, and he brought in recruits, the top recruit, and he retained his best player. They should have went to the draft last year. He retained him, and now he's coming back. So Indiana has the right recipe, the right team to at least make it to the Elite Eight this year, and I see that as a success. Anything less than an Elite Eight, Sweet 16 is like all right, but they got to make the Elite Eight with this team.
Yeah. Let's see here. You want to touch on Louisville at all? How are you feeling on there?
Well, I'll go with your prediction, your other hot takes with Kansas, Virginia, Alabama, and Tennessee in the Final Four. What I had to say about Kansas, a month ago, today, they started a three game losing streak to Kansas State, but they bounced back and corrected their course against UK. Sorry, Jordan, but they corrected the course, beating UK, and then they avenged their loss against Kansas State, beating them at the end of the month in January. They beat Texas. But now they're going down a hard stretch right here, a tough stretch against the rest of the teams in the Big 12. They play Baylor next. They got at TCU, and then they end the year at Texas. I think if they at least go in these 5 games, if they beat Baylor, TCU is going to be hard, and Texas is going to be hard. But if they can squeak out one of those two between TCU and Texas, I think they'll be set up to hit their rhythm going into the conference play, win out the conference, and then that probably will be the team to beat in the tournament, and they can go on and repeat because they have some players on that team that's been there. As you said before, you need a coach that's been there. He was just there last year, so he knows what he's doing. I think Kansas is probably the runaway favorite right now, other than Alabama. But yeah, that's my runaway, my hot take. I got Kansas, Bama. If they don't meet, on their side of the bracket in the Final Four, I think it could be those two in the national championship, which you never want to see Bama being this good in both sports. I mean, geez,
No.
they're getting right, and I mean, you're bound to get right when you have money going into that program, and you can now play athletes. You would think those top programs will start getting it going, and Alabama's getting it going. So, um,
I know, like, I know people have said fire Calipari this year a lot. It's been echoed. Um, I mean, I would not fire him unless I wouldn't. If I was AD, I would not fire him unless I could get Oates or Musselman
mhm.
out of Arkansas or Alabama.
Yeah, I
It'd be
mean,
hard to do, but
he's
I
earned another year. He's earned another year because of the recruits, but he gets those every year. So if you're sitting
at
these,
that level, he hasn't that had
yeah,
that level.
exactly. If you're sitting
That
at
level
this
is a while.
if you're sitting at these fillings next year, this time next year, with the recruits you have coming in and the transfer market, I'm sure he's going to hit still. Then yeah, it's probably time for him to go because
Yeah.
you have probably the greatest class ever assembled coming to your
If
school.
he can't do it now with the classes with this class resembles the classes he had the first 5 years, if he
Mhm.
can't do it with the same type of people that he used to get now, then obviously, yeah, that's where you're like, all right, you've lost it a little bit.
Oh yeah, it's it, it's it's scary to be where you are at with Kentucky because you put so much into that coach, into Cal, and what he has bringing in. You don't know what to believe next year. You can believe the hype, still believe the hype for like you did the last 13 years. Top recruiting class. Oh, we're going to be good this year, and then you have a year like this where you're like, what the heck? So it's kind of hard. I don't know what UK. I know what UK fans are feeling because I know what you're feeling just by listening to you, but I mean, it's definitely a better feeling than what Louisville has right now. So if you really want me to, I'll go into U of L talk, unless you want to go over
You ain't got to touch on it for too long. I mean, there ain't
no, it's not
much going
much.
on.
It's not much.
I feel
I'll
like it's a good week though, just based on the play.
Yes, that's what I was going to hit on. That's what I was going to hit on. So, we are 3-23. We are 1-14. But we played great against Virginia on Wednesday. This past Wednesday, we got them down to the wire. They earned some respect from me, player wise, because they haven't given up. They definitely could have given up 10 games ago, but they haven't given up. You see the fight in them. I mean, of course, you see some lackluster effort every once in a while, but you see the fight in most of these players. Uh, we don't accept more victories anymore. KP knows that. But they definitely need to make improvements in late game situations. I noted this. There's been 6 games this year, especially the first 3 games of the year. We lost by 1 point, and it all came down to a last second shot, and we just look like we don't know what we're doing. It's like that's the time you practice those situations in practice. Like you should know, like, hey, all right, I don't have any timeouts, but play number 5, Green, Lucy, whatever you call this go-to play in this situation, you got to be able to call it, and you don't see anything. You just see the ball getting thrown to L. Ellis. Everybody standing around like, oh, please don't pass me the ball. Please don't pass. Oh, he passed me the ball. Get it right back. That's what you've seen. And Virginia was the prime example. We had the ball with 30 seconds, down 3, when we easily could have just went in and got a quick 2 because they're playing 5 out around the perimeter, not trying to take a shot because they knew that's what Louisville was going to do. But, we just dribbled around and just threw up a shot at the buzzer and lost. But again, I still see great play. I see a beast forming in Mike James. Mike James has been playing great. JJ Trainer, I don't know where this guy has been. He's jumping out the gym, getting put back dunks at least 2 or 3 times in the last 5 games. But I'm really happy with those guys. Of course, L. Ellis is balling. He had a career game 2 games ago where he dropped 33. I love some of the stuff I'm seeing from Kamari Lands, but he is young. He is developing. So he's a guy that I'll see developing next year to be, one of our next key players. Hersey Miller, I mean, we get what we get with him. That dude is smart. He knows what he's doing out there on the court. He knows how to be a smart ball player, but his skill level just isn't at the ACC Division I level yet. And again, This is KP's job. He's been known as a developer and a recruiter, so it's time for him to develop and use his expertise with these guys. So I want him to return all the freshmen on this team. So that includes, our key freshmen in Kamari Lands, even Mike James. I want to see Fabio back, even though he's messing up academically, apparently. But I want to see BHH back. I want to see JJ Trainer, even Jalen Withers. I didn't like what I was getting at the beginning of the year, but I like what I'm seeing now. And if L can get another year, bring him back. But you may laugh at this, but I strongly believe we are a point guard and a skilled center away from being an above 500 team. I know that's not saying a lot. It's above 500, but hey, we're a skilled point guard and center away from being above 500 and dang near a top 5 ACC team this year. So if you give us that in the transfer market after the season, KP, I think next year will bring some more excitement, and I think we can improve a lot next year.
I didn't think y'all were this bad going into the year. So I'm not going to laugh at that. Maybe the top 5 ACC part, maybe a little.
I mean, if you look at the ACC,
yeah, I mean, if you look at the
this
ACC,
year, it's kind of like with football, though. I mean, you have a new coach at Duke who has kind of like what you're going through with UK, top recruiting class, and look what they're doing. This was our time, and our best team in the league right now is Virginia. Obviously, they usually are number one, but I mean the ACC's not that great this year.
No, I mean when you got Duke and UNC in the middle of the pack, I mean,
yeah.
But I mean, top 5 with Clemson and Pittsburgh playing the way they are. Maybe not top 5, especially if Duke and UNC get back to their normal ways. But to say that you're a couple players away from turning it around to being above 500, that's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. You got a guy that can get the ball to take it off of L. Ellis's hands of just letting him get open and get a shot off. And then you have a center that will actually crash the boards or can stop a big man like Baycott. I mean, we didn't get that from Sid Curry. He played well in the UNC game against Baycott, but it wasn't what we needed. Yeah. It's not what we're getting from an Oscar Sheedway. Like
I mean, getting shit from him, so
yeah, I would still take him over, Sid Curry right now. Man, I just know the upside for Sid Curry is crazy, and nobody sees it, man. If you look at his face, I don't know if he's just one of those resting guy faces. I won't say the other word for it, but resting guy face. He just no effort, running not even full speed, jogging down the court. Just got to dunk, no screaming. Got to block, no screaming, like no excitement. But that's Louisville take, man. I there's only so much you can harp on, and I want to keep it positive, and I really am like what I'm seeing. There's fight in them these last 2 games. I mean, you can only go up from here, I hope.
Hey, maybe you can win a couple games in the ACC tournament to end the year and push some momentum into next year.
Give me one win, which I think we'll play Georgia Tech to open up the ACC tournament, and I think we can get a win against them. If you give me that win to go out of the year, hey, let's get ready for next year. But
yeah, I mean,
what you got for UK, man? What's going on over there?
I mean, it's like a roller coaster ride. I mean, it really is. You thought you turned a corner and you lose 2 straight.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, what are we going to do from here on out? And then they go on the road and they beat a good Mississippi State team who I think have won 5 of 6 in a row and positioned themselves into the tournament at that time when we went down to play them. So, I mean, injuries have been – I don't use injuries as an excuse.
Yeah,
right. But they've been there all year long and it's not just like one guy injured his foot or another guy injured his hand. It's literally like, I mean, Damian Collins was out for a while because his dad died right before the season. All right, Oscar Tshiebwe started the year not 100% with his knee. CJ Frederick has had a broken finger, and now he's got broken ribs. Xavier Wheeler's in a fucking walking boot right now. Hassan Wallace missed a game because of back spasms. I mean, it's literally, I think there's only been like 15 games at full strength and then you got to figure out, you're at that point with everybody, you're trying to figure out your lineup. Um, I think I like what I'm seeing. I don't really. I'm falling off. Like Oscar has really taken a dip away from likability lately.
Yeah.
I mean, is nothing wrong with him. I mean, he's not as dominant on the boards.
Is it
He's
his play that's making him not likable, or is it like
it,
effort, attitude?
it, I mean, you could go along with play and effort being kind of the same thing because
Yeah.
all rebounding is effort, and he's not even rebounding.
Mm,
Like he's not getting 20 and 10 or 20 and 15 anymore. I mean, he's getting like maybe 10 and 10.
yeah.
Like it's whatever's going on. I don't know what's going on, but I mean, throughout
How
the
would you
year,
expect from player of the year? Hmm.
yeah, you had player of the year. He came back. I think he's the reason we lost that Michigan State game because on that inbounds play, he was just right before that he was showboating because of a block and then gets beat on the inbounds play to send us to overtime.
Mm,
And then he wants to. He's made comments of calling out teammates or telling Cal not to play certain people, and then Cal
mm,
comes out weeks later like, well, he hasn't been in the gym, and I've had to get on his ass to get in the gym. So like, what are you doing? You're calling people out now. You're not in the gym. So one, who's right in that scenario? And like, I just don't think I think this team gelled on the overseas trip at the beginning of the year,
hmm.
and then I don't know what happened because it just has not. They have not looked like they've liked each other completely throughout the rest of the season. So I'm not sure what to make of them, to be honest. It's so up and down. But I mean, they're one of the last four in right now. I think we'll make it in the tournament, barring any stupid losses like to Florida and Vanderbilt, where you have to win the SEC tournament.
Right.
So, because the other three games, if you lose them, they're all, I think, would be quad one losses, which isn't good, but
Mm,
at least it's quad one loss.
yeah.
Uh,
Something
I
you
mean,
can afford.
yeah, I mean that's really it.
Mm,
I'll just see what I gotta see how they do tomorrow
yeah.
against Tennessee, and then moving forward what we've got.
Yeah. So those are our next two games. Tomorrow, UK has who?
Tennessee, one
Tennessee
o'clock
at
Eastern.
one. And then tomorrow, Louisville will have kind of a big, ceremonial game. We're going to honor the 2013 team, as most people probably won't say it
Are
happened.
honoring the 2013 number one final coaches
There,
poll.
there you go. I mean, you
I'm
got to get what we
sorry.
can get.
That's dumb.
It's got to get the respect to these
But
players. Honestly, we know it's the same thing. We know
don't
who
even
went out
put
there and won.
NCAA up there.
Huh?
Just put 2013 champions. Just don't even put NCAA.
Well, Josh Hurd was on a radio show I listened to today, and he was discussing why he went with that verbiage and terminology. You have to go with it if you want to hang a banner. I mean, I know you can be like UCF and
You
say
can hang a banner at your own school, at your own. Who gives a shit if it's got those four letters on there? You know what happened. I know what happened. Put
no,
up there the
that's
logo
what that's why I think they're
2013.
doing it. They don't want any speculations. They don't want NCAA saying anything to it. Just like, look, here we were the coach's phone number. I agree with you. We are bringing back the banners around the city. So those of you listening, if you're in Louisville, drive around near the Yum Center and you'll see the banners hanging right over Barano's. They have their banner hanging up. I mean, I want to buy a banner just because like we know what happened. I don't care. You can't take away the moment that you felt your team, just like when you all made it in 2012 and 2014, that momentum and that feeling you had when that game was going on. I even wrote it out when that game was happening. I've never been more nervous for a game I wasn't playing in. That game will always be something I remember, something I'll tell my kids. So I'm glad they're hanging something up. I don't care what it says, long as they honored 2013. I wish I was going to the game because I want to see the whole ceremony, but got a baby shower to go to. So it's all good. I'd rather be I'd rather be at the baby shower, so it's fine. I'll watch it on TV, but I think it's good that we're honoring them. I feel like we had something every year. I think 2 years ago was Lamar Jackson retirement that was bringing fans out. Last year was the Russ Smith retirement jersey, and then now we got this year. I feel like it's just the marketing team doing what they can to keep the fans around during bad times. I understand it, but also I respect all three of these things. The retirement jersey and Lamar Jackson, we knew it was going to happen, whether it was 30 years down the road or now. It should have happened. You want to do it while he's here. Same thing with Russ Smith. It should have happened, no matter if it was 30 years or now. And then we knew it happened. So let's honor it. 10-year decade. I get it. Put the banner up. So if you're going to that game, good. I hope you enjoy it. Reminisce on what we went through in 2013 and kind of like put what's going on right now in the back of your mind for that game. But I'm excited, even though we're playing Clemson, the number 4 team in ACC. And last time we played them, it was not pretty. I hope we can bring some fight because I know the crowd will be there. The crowd has been beautiful. But, I'm excited to see what we got. So this is part 1 of our episode, guys. Definitely click on the link to go and watch our next video for Super Bowl information updates. So thank you for listening in. If you have any questions or anything about our takes, feel free to reach us out. Drizzy, you got anything about?
No. Come back and hear our thoughts on the Super Bowl. Jersey out.